Spirito riconduco l'anima al suolo del mio antico porto. Tra invisibili notte di un farbuffone rilassato al suono di un legittimo canto distorto. Dall'esilio dell'immaginazione vagai tra gente e terre che mi hanno adottato. E in cambio di una risata e chi di storia lungo le strade di una saggezza dimenticata, di indomabili notti calde di gloria. Di antichi scranni spolverati a novella parvenza, arruolati da sciocchi predicatori, nell'agonia dei prestigiatori non c'è differenza. Tra le nuvole e l'illusione, domatori di voti, grazie ma dipinte battute non so campare. Chiedo scusa ma è tardi per le mie strade, un'altra storia sta ad aspettare, perché dentro la torre non ci so stare. Perché dentro la torre non ci so stare. Conduco il cuore lontano da quel vecchio porto, dove non c'è posto per un buffone lieto e saldo sull'equilibrio di un fato risorto. Ma lontano dall'illusione, se un domani estinto mi ammonirà, che un circo instabile in delirio di libertà. Seguo il richiamo di antiche glorie, lungo sentiero dimenticato per risalire, perché ancora pianto per ripartire. Ma di finte battute non so campare. Chiedo scusa ma è tardi per le mie storie, un'altra strada sta ad aspettare, perché dentro la torre non ci so stare. Perché dentro la torre non ci so stare.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
All girls all over the world. Original man, stand on your case, man. I love how all girls they move them body, and when you move your body, it goes nice and sweet and sexy. Alright.
For manicure, you don't need no makeup. Original body you make my fun up. For manicure, you don't need no makeup. Original body you make my fun up. Physically fit, physically fit, physically, physically, physically fit, physically fit, physically fit, physically, physically, physically fit.
I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. I like to move it, move it. You like to move it.
Woman nice, sweet, fantastic.
Big ship on ocean like a Titanic.
Woman nice, sweet, energetic.
Big ship on ocean like a Titanic.
Woman nice, sweet, fantastic.
Big ship on ocean like a Titanic.
Woman nice, sweet, energetic.
Big ship on ocean like a Titanic.
Eileen here.
On your face I make McMahon.
No spawner.
On your face I make McMahon.
Sorry guys, having some technical difficulties. Welcome, how are you?
On your face I make.
I'm really annoyed right now because I got a new way of monitoring the comments, and it was not able to do it the way I wanted to do it. So I'm gonna have to look into this a little bit more. You're gonna have to just excuse me a quick moment. It's weird because the tablet comes up, everything comes up, but I can't view the chat. I can view the chat on my phone, but I can't view the chat on anything else. So for today, it's gonna be right up here. And we're gonna leave it up there for now until the break. Hi guys, my name is Tyler, welcome to the Amsterdam Show, and I'll try to shake off the annoying technical difficulties. When technology doesn't go the way I want, I turn into a baby. Absolute baby. If I give you this tablet, do you think you can see if you can figure out how to see the comments on a video? So I'm just going to give this to her to see if she can use this. Okay. We're going to see if we can make this work. Hello! I just got a brand new tablet, and I just want to make sure this works for exactly what I need it to work for. So it's unfortunate that we can't, like, I can't get it to see the comments. I need help. Could somebody help me? Anyways, I'm going to give this to her, and she can hopefully try to figure out how to view the comments, and we'll be on our way. Anyways, hi guys. Pedro, how are you? Happy New Year. Today, the star of the show is not me anyway. We're going to go straight to the start of the show, straight to the screen, the release stream for the fully licensed. This is coming out, I think, I believe tomorrow. And if depending on when you're watching this, it might already be out. And you'll also notice that our pre-recorded content did not show up. Now, the question, the problem with that, there's a couple of issues that I found last second that I have to redo a couple of videos. I used content with our playlist in it, and I kind of neglected to think. I was like, oh, it's just going to be like doing things, getting the fuzz off my hat, just like doing things. Hey, Tomas, how are you? I figured it would just be like doing things in, hang on guys, doing things in OBS. And I'm like, okay, I'm kind of nerved about doing it. I'm like, I'm just doing the videos. Not thinking I'm doing it with the playlist, not thinking that these are actually videos I do want to monetize. So I have to redo a few things. I have to use royalty-free music. And so I'm coming up with my own list of royalty-free music. There's a playlist on Spotify, and yeah, it's going to be all right. So just give me a tack a week onto the extension there, and we'll get a few more things hammered out before the end of the break here. Excited though, because the star of the show today is the Puretone, and the first licensed the first major licensed effort for Nembrini Audio. Very exciting. I'm very excited. Are you excited? Yeah, anyways. Are you excited? See, do you like the tone of my voice? It just like sucked all the steam out of me when I thought I was going to be looking at the comments. Beautiful screen, and then Shanae McNade. Actually, maybe if you turn it sideways, that actually might work. Let's see if does it show up? The chat? On the side? No. Anyways, we figured, like, I've tried it on a tablet before where I could see, like, it was just like a phone where they just comments just show up. You got to figure that out. All right, so today I'm using my Ibanez Iceman with modified pickups. I've got a Gibson Classic 57 and a Bill Lawrence USA L500XL in this guitar. Pardon me. It's tuned in C, and this is kind of going to be a stream where we're looking for a little bit of rock and a little bit of, maybe a little bit of metal as well. I know a few of the, pardon me. I know the few of the influencers I work with were under the impression that this particular amp could not do metal. I disagreed, because I just do. I don't need delay though. I definitely don't need any delay at this particular time. So we're going to go ahead and knock off the delay, the EQ, and everything else. It's a lot of light. That's bright. That's quite bright. That's a lot of I'm on. All right, so we've got a boost section, and those of you out there that have complained to me personally, there are several people out there that said, hey, geez, you got to let Nembrini Audio know that they need a boost section in their plugins. They just need it. And you're preaching to the choir. I've been working on that man for a very long time about putting boosts in. I just don't. He's never really flat out just told me, hey, I don't want to do this, but he just doesn't seem want to do it. But maybe it's the situation here is likely someone at Hughes and Kettner wanted it done. I'm going to close this window because I have bright lights on and the sun is going down. I don't want the zombies to come and find me. And you're probably thinking, he's probably just joking. There's no real zombies. Oh, there's zombies. Tons of zombies. Anyways, we're gonna move along with this. It's gonna be fun. So yeah, it's capable. We're not gonna start with the greenback, so we're gonna start with the rock driver. That sounds pretty good. Now, I'm actually just gonna turn this mic right off, and I'm gonna go with a single 57 to get started. So for anybody that under the belief that the Puretone can't handle metal duties or higher gain, already I feel like you're incorrect. In its analog form, like I know nothing about this amp. Ton Guitar, what's up? Pedro, how are you? Everybody, how's it going? Yes, it does. It looks much different. And when I asked Igor if this would be a big thing, like if this was going to be a thing in future plugins, I didn't receive a response. He was just kind of like, I don't know. He was like, I don't know just yet, kind of thing like that. This is a single channel amp. We're going to go over the amp itself. It's just got simple controls, growl, bass, mid, treble, volume. Very simplistic. There's a lot going on in the beast here. Okay, guys? So let's get to it. Is this going to be your bread and butter high gain? Probably not. Now I'm stuck on volume though. Is volume the power amp volume, or is volume like just the channel volume? I am going to be safe and I'm going to run it right about there, like it's the power amp volume. You might be thinking, well, why does that even matter? But it just does. Just chill with me for a minute. Okay. Now that's so then for output, I could easily just bring it up if I want here. It doesn't sound like it's just the power amp volume to me. That sounds like a channel volume, or like oh yeah, there's a lot going on there. So yeah, there's more to it than that. Oh yeah. Yeah, that's definitely not just like, that's not a power amp volume. Who is saying this amp can't do high gain? What are you talking about? There's a lot of versatility in a one channel. It's like a single channel amp. Let's see what else it's got going on here. It's basically, there's no clean tone happening involved. There's no clean tone involved here. So you can use your cabinets, impulse responses, or just bypass it altogether. I like that there's a handy bypass. They don't make you just, climb through any hoops. There's just straight up, oh, you don't want the cabinet? Boom, bypass. And the other cool thing is some developers out there don't really like when you bypass their cabinet to use a third-party developer's impulse responses. There is that thought. There are some developers that don't like when you turn in content with like a mixed bag. Oh, you've got our cabinet and somebody else's IRs. Okay, cool. And some developers don't really like that. Some of them do. Nembrini Audio does. And how do I know that? Well, because he's given you more than just that little block, tiny window that says, user IR or onboard IR or an external IR, whatever it is. There's just this little tiny window. Sometimes they don't even give you a forward and a backward arrow, which just means they're just doing the bare minimum to put that in there because they really don't want you to switch cabinets. In this case, pop over here, he's given you everything you need to work with the impulse responses, not just, he's giving you like everything you need. So obviously he's encouraging everybody to be like, hey, if you don't like the cabs that are on board here, hey, we want to make this as convenient as possible and still enable you so you don't have to use your own loader. You don't have to bypass the post effects or whatever. Because if you were to use your own loader, then the post effects would be out of chain. Okay, just to specify that for the newer users. There are some newer users. I like that. What's good, fam? My friend, everything is good. Sorry that the stream didn't happen yesterday, guys. I was just ever so out of it yesterday, and I just I felt like doing a few other things. I was also a little bit annoyed that I have to redo a few things that I'd already done, and etc. But it is what it is. We are here now, and this is going to be about an hour and a bit, and then we are going to do another stream. I do believe it's actually, you know what, I'm going to run this one longer. This one's going to be like 90 minutes today. And then tomorrow we're going to do the stream that we had intended to do New Year's Day, where we're going to talk about the best of last and what we are currently looking for in the current coming year. Now, why is this stream important? Well, because despite the modest subscriber count, developers actually do occasionally listen to the team here. We have a lot of really great connections with a lot of great developers. Now, if enough people reach out in our streams saying, well, I really want this, man, it would be amazing to see this particular amp this year. Like for me, Rivera Knucklehead. I can be selfish and tell developers all the time, just be like, hey buddy, come on. What do you say about that? You can plant the seed all you want. So can you. You can email your favorite developer and say, you know what you guys should do with this. Or you can comment on something. It would be great if you guys did this. But before suggesting it, also ensure that somebody else hasn't done that particular piece of gear to a T. Now, why do I tell you to look for this? Well, because if somebody else out there, if one of the top developers has absolutely crushed it on a piece of gear and really nailed it, the other top developers are going to at least lean away from that piece of gear a little bit because, hey, this one's been nailed. People know it's nailed. It's very current. It just came out. We're not going to touch that particular piece of gear for a bit because it would just be white noise. You'd be sure, you might think, well, there's competition and things. And yes, there are developers that do like to sneaky do that, the same gear inside the same time frame because they like one-upsmanship. But I don't think that's usually the intended thing. Okay, so you can email your favorite developers and talk to them on forums and user groups and stuff, and let them know what you'd like to see. But again, make sure that what you're saying to them it also isn't white noise. Because if you're just asking for something that's been done by 3 other developers really well, that developer is going to be like, yeah, okay, cool, thanks. You know, whereas if it's something unique, it might get them thinking. Like somebody the other day mentioned to me the PV Butcher, and I mentioned it to a few of my friends, and a few of my friends went, really? Oh yeah, PV Butcher. So you like plant seeds like that, which is great. Buddy, cooking. All right, let's get back to the amp. So the amp, can somebody out there that's in the know? Somebody out there that's in the know, I'm going to make sure I tune up here. Somebody out there that's in the know on this amp, tell me about this amp. I have not yet done my full research on this one. I think the tube type is it EL34? It's a little guy though, right? This thing? It's a little wee little thing. And I asked Igor if this also meant there were going to be more of these, and he would not say specifically. So it would be nice that if that Triamp. This is something unique though. There has not been a licensed. There's nobody has done a licensed Hughes and Kettner effort to this point, for one reason or another, and just nobody has done it. So. Ton Guitarra, I live in a very interesting neighborhood that does occasionally show signs of drug abuse and addiction. So what I mean is And what I mean by zombies is I mean people that you don't want to advertise. I live in a neighborhood. You don't necessarily want to advertise that you've got lights, bright lights. Everybody look at the bright lights. I would rather these people just walk right by my house, not know that I'm even in here. But yeah, that's just when I say the zombies, I mean, am I making fun? No, I'm not making fun. I'm making light of the neighborhood I live in. And if you live in situations like that, sometimes you could only make a little bit of light of the scenario that you're in. What the fuck is this supposed to be? It's a Hughes and Kettner. Puretone, sir. Ilmyrus? I'm trying. Churmachulinus? Churmatulinus? Ah, okay. Ilmyrus Churmatulinus. That has some really nice music to it. Man, are you gonna get out of there someday or what? Thanks, buddy. Nice. This sounds good. I'm not really sure what Ilmyrus meant by his comment or her comment. Not sure. As I'm not familiar to that name. I'm assuming it's a he. Ilmyrus. Sounds like Ilmyra might be the. Pardon me. Yes, it's very, very nice sounding. I'm also curious. As far as like low as I can go right now is B flat. I can't go that low for you, but I can go a little bit lower. I will be able to go a little bit lower when I eventually get the baritone. I've only got the growl on 3 right now. If I turn off the tube screamer, however, I notice there is a bit. There's kind of more of a rock vibe. And there's something in the high end that's me. Okay, I agree with you. And it's weird, okay? So Ilmyrus said it himself, and I agree with Ilmyrus as well. Am I pronouncing that right? Can you give me a phonetic spelling? I agree. There's something going on because I have a lot of headroom to go here. And this is a bright pickup. This is a very bright pickup. I do want to point that out. That being said, I don't know anything about this cab or the speakers in it or anything about that at whatsoever at this point. So I probably should have done a bit more research. I thought actually I misunderstood and mistook the release date for this one to be the end of this month, but it's actually coming out just right away. And that's cool. So I'm also using the distance. I'm also using a 57 that's in a pretty touchy high distance here. That bit better? How's that? That was my own poor setting up of the thing. Okay, so I'm gonna use that, and then I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna blend a bit of this one in. I'm also gonna adjust. No. There's absolutely nothing about it being a snowflake, and I was taught to be respectful. And I believe that when you're addressing somebody that you learn how to pronounce their name properly. That's just how I was taught. If someone came up to me and continuously called me T-Lore, even though they know how it's spelled, I might correct them. It might not offend me, but it sure does. I sure do appreciate it when people pronounce my name and they go out of their way. So if you don't mind, that's cool. I mean, but still, I like to be respectful. That was just the way I was raised. So I always ask people if they're from another country, another culture that I'm not too super familiar with the pronunciation of their names. I always ask. So Sorry, it's just me being me. This sounds really good though, guys, like really good. I'm really happy with this so far. If I'm going to get a little bit more low end though, I'm going to want... I'm going to bring this back a tiny bit. And I'm also going to distance it and change the position a bit more. That sounds pretty good. And I've got a lot of headroom though. Like if I'm up here, now I never suggest really going above 7 or 8 on any control on any amp beyond like a gain. If it comes to like bass, mid, and treble, there should always be a little headroom so that you don't have to do that before things get kind of extreme. So let's see, if I'm at where I would normally live in the treble department is about 7. So is that going to be like way out of line here? What's going on? Now, see, I see that again. I'm going to back that and bring this in a little bit more for that low end. It might have a setting so that you can't view comments, because sometimes people turn that off. In the app. We're using the app. Interesting. So, man. Okay, so yeah, back to the drawing board with comments. I got all excited because I thought the Fire tablet, the Amazon Fire tablet, was going to be okay for... I'm just going to have to figure it out. I think there's a whole app for it where I can just get the YouTube app and I don't have to do it via via actually watching the stream. I keep doing that, but guys, it sounds superb. You can really get that Jerry Cantrell feel. Oh, let's try that all again. Now let's get that growl up. It's only at about 3 right now. I got lots. Let's go up to about 6. And I'm not using a boost right now, if I'm correct. Yeah, there's nothing on right now. That is really, really tight. So I also misjudged how tight the amp was as it is. And this is why I always kind of talk shit on those modern, and I say the Ola Tube Screamer settings because that's how a lot of people best know them, is that the Ola settings where the drive is off and the tone is all the way up and level is all the way up regardless of which guitar, which amp, which anything you're using. That's why I always talk shit on those settings, because you may come across an amp where it's just super tight already and you just wanted to tighten it up ever so slightly, a tiny bit more. In that case, I'm going to do it more like this. I'm going to take this tone knob here. I'm going to roll it back to about halfway. And then I'm going to roll the level back to about halfway. And I'm actually going to use a little bit of this drive knob to create a little bit more gain and a little bit more of that high gain type feel. I'm also going to jog the input up a little bit. All right, sounds pretty good. Now, if I jack that up to about 8, let's see what we got. Hey, Aaron. Yes, Aaron is definitely... You're never going to get shit from an Aaron by calling him Aaron, though. I don't think anybody's ever going to shit talk you for that. That's great. Pedro Seuss, how are you? Seuss is also, I believe, syncing into this plugin right about now. Or at least he should be, because I just sent it to him. Yay! And if you are a content creator and you're out there and you have decent quality audio and decent quality video, and you would like to demo this plugin right here during the release cycle, get at me, theampsimuniverse@gmail.com. And if you've got it, we don't really, it's not a follower count, it's not a subscriber count, it's about building that search history. You know what I mean? Building that those search results rather. And so that when people look up the product, they see, hey, they're not going to look for your follower count. They're going to see a good video with good audio and a solid effort. And they're going to be like, yeah, this sounds really good. It's not going to be your follower count necessarily in those cases that's going to sell a plugin or make somebody want to go and try it out at very least. By the way, if you're looking to try this out tomorrow, I believe there will be a 100% fully functioning and unrestricted free trial for you to try out. And it will be available, I do believe, January 3rd. That is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. Who even knows at this time of year? All right. Again, I hope everyone is having a very safe and amazing holiday season. I love calling Blake. Sounds brutal. Oops, I don't want to do that. I can't stop using real amps. Earthstrong 43.7. That's cool, man. No one here? If you're familiar with the channel, I don't know if you're trying to troll us. That's cool, man. We don't really do the whole digital versus analog thing around here. We go digital plus analog. And when it comes to people that are using and are very, very loyal to analog, that's cool. I myself, when it comes to playing in a live setting or in a jam room, 100% of the day, I'm going to choose. That doesn't happen a lot anymore, but in a jam capacity or in a live setting, something like that, absolutely 100% analog only. Do not bring me a Kemper. I do not want an Axe FX. I don't want any of that. I want an amp on top of a cabinet that has a microphone or two on the cabinet with me and my pedals up front. That would be wonderful. However, when I'm at home, the last thing in the world I want is an analog amp in a small apartment you're in a fourplex. So where I like to talk about this, the plus analog plus digital, is in scenarios where I think that analog lovers can continue to love analog till the end of time. Digital lovers can continue to love digital to the end of time, but everybody can get along in the sense that if you're looking to want to be one of those people that's creative 100% of the time, whenever you feel like being creative and productive and writing songs, writing riffs, sending demo ideas to your friends and your bandmates, etc., or even just having small little projects that you can record in the privacy of your own home and convenience without anybody fucking with you or listening or calling the police because you're trying to record guitar riffs at 3 a.m, or you're waking up your kids, or you're waking up your parents, depending on the house that you live in. So my conversation with that is always just analog plus digital, and 100%. You can't stop using real amps in a live setting, in a jam setting, or even if you're recording in a setting where you can have access to analog amps and you can let them rip. Absolutely 100% agreed that analog is the way to go. However, for everything else, plugins are here. If you ever feel like that's something that you want to add to your productivity and your creativity, they're here, man, and they're not going away, and they're just keep getting better. In this particular case, I've actually not even heard this amp before, but a lot of people tell me it's very small, but in its plug-in form, there's also things that you can do where you can't do these things in the analog world, where you can put amps that should not be put through 412 cabs. Not saying this is one of those amps, but there are a lot of amps out there, plugins that feature amplifiers that just are not wired to go with a 412 cabinet. But in the plugin world, you can hear that and see what it sounds like and hear what it sounds like and get some pretty awesome results as well. Not to mention Franken-amping. Things you can do in the plugin world is swapping power and swapping tubes and everything else that you can do in the analog world, but with a lot more difficulty. I use a 50-watt tube head with a 412 cab in my bedroom. Buddy, I can remember the days as well. I can remember those days where I could walk down from my bedroom walk down into my practice space, turn up my amp at any time of the day I fucking wanted. And those were the fucking days. I remember the days when I could still have a drum kit in my home. Ah, those were the days! I was mighty, I was free. Volume was not a factor, but you know what? For all of us, we can't all do that. Not to mention, recording that amp of yours it's not always super practical to throw a mic in there and record riffs and stuff. So again, no one's here trying to convince you to switch. Everybody's just trying to convince people to let them know that plugins are here. And maybe you tried one 5 years ago and it sucked. Well, guess what? Things get better and better and better. And I hope you chime into more streams. I'm curious now, what is your favorite analog amp? And give me some of your favorite analog gear on the planet. And the next stream we do, I will dedicate some time just to showing you how good some of that gear can sound. I'm up for the challenge. I love it, actually. I love these conversations, and I don't mind the debates. Thank you so much for chiming in. I really appreciate you, Earthstrong 43.7. Oh, it's that? Oh, okay, cool. So I didn't have the right app, guys. No big deal. This is a man. Whoever said this couldn't do. It's just a rock amp. It's not going to be very metal. I don't know, man. I can't get it to do anything. I can't get it to do anything but metal right now. Let's check out the filters. Oh, this is just tight and harsh. Basically, tight and harsh is kind of like a, well, you guys be the judge. Tight is cool. It's almost like a one knob boost. Tight. You can get it sounding very modern with a little bit. I know that's ear piercing to us, but the kids, they love it. They love this. They love it. They love it with it's tuned down and the. For me, it doesn't sound so good. It's only got it in the C. Anyways, this tight basically turns you into a modern metal machine instantly. So I would back that off. Harsh kind of just smooths things out a little bit as well. It's a wonderful thing to have. The noise gate's off right now because I don't need it. I got the denoiser always in my chain. Always in my chain, the denoiser. So let's go through the cabs and see what we've got on board here. Okay, let me see here. I like recording with plugins, performing and practicing with exactly what I'm saying. Recording with plugins is also really great because you can record with just a bare DI and then go at it with plugins, and you can change things down to the last minute to be however you'd like. And I love that. I love never being married to anything. The last time I recorded with any analog gear, I was using a tube screamer out front of my interface. I can't speak. Interface. And to this day, it haunts me because it was an album that actually I really enjoyed recording, and I'm still wanting to work on it. But it just bugs me that I'm married to the tube screamer being on some of these guitar tracks that I just don't want there anymore. So it's nice for you if you're that type of person. Plus, again, if you're in a band, I cannot tell you enough how having even just a laptop with a one little single input interface and some amp sims, even free ones. There's a ton for Earthstrong, man. There's a ton of free shit out there, so no one's asking you to buy anything either. I'm really curious as to some of Earthstrong's favorite gear and see if we can somehow. I love these conversations because I love proving people that hey, things might be a little bit better than you might think, or having that person say, you know what, nah, still not for me, dude. But you know what, I appreciate your attempt, and I'll be back, maybe in 5 years. Yeah, I'm having a great day today, and this is awesome. And I've had to sit on this for a long time. Braindead, how are you? I'm sorry I didn't see you come in. 15 people in here. That's nice. It's nice when our like normal streams now hit like 10 to 15 people. That's pretty cool. Happy 2025. I would agree with you because I was still saying 2024 up until like just an hour ago. Anyways, let's go through the cabs. We've got the Hughes and Kettner TC 412 Rock Driver 60. There's that whole thing's your name, huh? Okay, so that whole thing is that's the cabinet. We've got the Hughes and Kettner TM 212 Vintage 30. And I've got to go back and do that again. I'm really enjoying playing in C. It's my new guitar that I'm getting. I'm getting them to put it in 54-12 for me, and it's going to sit in C for probably forever because I don't want to fuck with the nut on this guitar, and I want it to be good for a little bit of everything because I'm going to be trying to use it for a little bit of everything on the streams. And I'm also going to be using it in pretty much all the pre-recorded content you guys are going to see is going to be me using the Mindsinger. Also, don't forget to check out Mindsinger guitars and Aurora Tone pickups, two wonderful Canadian companies supporting an interesting Canadian talking about amp sims on the internet. I appreciate those guys. They're really nice guys. Cody and Daryl, thanks so much for your support. That generally does sound a bit smaller too. I like that ability to have. Here's what I don't like. Now, one thing I really feel like that it's time that I think that Nembrini Audio revamp this section. I feel like these two right here could somehow be put into like two small boxes, one on top of each other, and then you could have skinny this up a little bit and have two cabinets. It'd be nice to be able to be able to blend two cabinets, two of the onboard cabinets, because it would be really cool in this case to be able to blend the Hughes & Kettner TM 212 with the Hughes & Kettner TC 412 rock driver, because I imagine them stacked in like that 612 scenario, and I think they would sound really cool. Anyways, moving along, there's a simple, plain old orange 412 with V30s. It's interesting because if you want to turn it into metal, you need the screamer pretty much. But without the screamer, it's just as tight and it rips. It still rips hard. It's definitely more of a rock amp without the screamer. Where I would probably max out with using it without the screamer would be like probably thrash. Like old school, like a vintage thrash, probably pull that off. And I didn't get anything back. Sad. I went on that big what's going on, Earthstrong, and then yeah. Anyways, Earthstrong, if you're still there, if you decide to come back, that is what I'm always up for those chats and talking to people about their favorite gear and maybe pointing them in the direction of some of the plugins that might change their mind. That's the thing, is if you're looking to get into this industry, and here's the thing, we have to be careful as amp sim users. If we really want to bring more people and more users, we really have to be careful. We have to be careful. We have to be careful about the plugins we recommend. Now, we've talked about this before. Where do we get people started the right way? And I honestly feel that getting someone started the right way is showing them freeware, finding the best freeware you can find. Ask them what they're into, though. Ask them what type of tones. Don't just be like, well, I know my favorites are this, or this. They might fucking hate metal music, and you might have just thrown 3 metal amps at them, and they're like, well, none of that appeals to me at all. Maybe it's still just for metal guys like I heard before. We got to be careful. We got to be careful, because if we recommend something that's really bad, that's a problem. So if you recommend something that's not in their realm of tone, that might not be too helpful. And if you recommend something that's just downright terrible, because you might, how many people in the world do you think have recommended positive grid bias effects to another user, saying, I've seen it, we've all seen it with our own eyes. And usually those people have just not tried anything else. But you have to be careful, because if someone like, for example, Earthstrong, that is already maybe skeptical of plugins, maybe a bit of an analog loyalist that is still on the fence, very much on the fence, but curious enough to look into a live stream a little bit. You know, there are some people out there that are like that are just, they're on the fence and they're interested, but nothing has fully sold them yet. And in that, my opinion, at this point in the industry, if they're not fully sold, it's because they haven't been recommended the right things to go and look for and change their mind. If you're recommending lower grade stuff, and that person that is already on the fence tries crappy stuff, they're going to fall right back on their own side of the fence and maybe not even try plugins for another 5 years. And the next 5 people that recommend plugins or amp sims to that person might get shot down like, hey man, have you tried that amp sim? Nope, sorry, tried that one from Positive Grid. I fucking hated it. And gone down, you're done, forget it. Next 5 people. And so you really got to make sure that when you're recommending stuff to people that you're doing it with something in mind, growing this industry beyond, you know, where it's at right now, getting, you know, more amps out there, and more people to come in and buy this tech, the better it gets. And that's the thing. There are still a lot of players out there in various styles that still do not want anything to do with it. Even though there's a lot of people there are people out there using Axe Effects and Kempers that are just sitting on this high horse in this belief that what they're using is just infinitely better than plugins, and they couldn't possibly come down to the level of, you know, it's like it'd be like that. So eventually more people are finding their way here, and this is going to be one of those plugins to do that. I cannot tell you how many times I've seen demand for Hughes and Kettner licensed or Hughes and Kettner anything. I can only hope, and we can only hope, that Igor's next plan is to do the Triamp, because this is sounding pretty damn fucking good. And that's the orange cabinet, as I had mentioned. And this is the VHT. Whoa! Now this is going to make Emiris, this is going to make him happy, because this is a much darker sounding cabinet. Wonderful. So I can tweak with this a little bit more. I can bring that distance back in. Nice. So that is definitely giving me those vibes of, okay, let's turn the screamer back on. Let's bring the tone up to modern standards here. Like, you know, go in that 7 department. Let's see where we're at here. And so I'm going to bring the gain down here, or the drive on the pedal. Oh man, this is good. 2 points this way, it's a lot more modern. 2 points in the other direction, you can make it sound a lot more, we're not going to call it vintage, but more scooped. But it is definitely a very mid-responsive amp, though. Did it come out today, or does it come out tomorrow? I'm not 100% sure. Yeah, I was very shocked at that. It crushes in every single Nembrini plugin that it's in. That VH, it should be your go-to. I've been trying to convince him, doing my very best to try and convince the fella to put that Soldano in more plugins, because that Soldano, that red Soldano he's got, is just so fucking good. Sounds really good. Now, for some reason, they've also thrown a couple of, or just one smaller option here. I don't know if let me just check it out. Yeah, I don't know. I'm not really interested in the Vox thing with this amp. Now, this is what we started with, was this is the Hughes Kettner VC 412 A25 green. That whole thing's your name, is it? Wow. Now, if you're a fan of the greenbacks, this is going to be your bag. I'm kind of, it's one of those things that, like, I just can't not like, but I don't love, you know? Awkward. 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 Yeah, I mean, I like it, but I don't like it as much. If I was looking to get more rock out of this amp, then I would go like this, and then I've got Rockville. There it is. I did this thing with the kids where they had to they would all chose a song, and then the one that got picked, I would record the song and then bring it in so that the kids could see me playing the song. And that was a song from Skillet. I know, don't bring their politics in here. I don't really need to hear about it. I was just a song for a kid. Calm down. Not my favorite band, but man, the guitar sound in that song is very strong. How's it going, Freeskin? Nice to see you. Ton Guitar also, I think I said it earlier, but absolutely great to see you. And I'm so happy that you're getting to enjoy your winnings and man, Caleb, thanks for donating that. That's pretty sick. And make sure we'll get you hooked up with something cool for doing just that. Now, we're going to try to make it the Zemetals again. I'm going to bring it back to the Rock Driver, and we're going to do a little bit more of the metal stuff. I'm just going to use the tight filter here and try to make something just... Woo, that's Ice Pick. Ice Picky. I'm going to bring that back. Wow, that is something that, like, let's be honest, there is a market for that tone. A lot of people really like that tone. I like it. I need to take a little of the top off though. And this really, I think, is going to be a big hit with the gent folks, because listen to that clarity. They really don't use a lot of gain. It's really not. It's not a ton of distortion, and it's not a ton of gain being used. And I don't have the tuning for this right now, but you guys get it. It's really got that, using the tight filter has really got that very interesting, that is just so popular. And I don't mind the guitar tones. I wish there was a way that Jen could have a lower octave supported by a bass instrument. That's the only thing I wish for it. 12 people in here. Hi, my name is Tyler. Welcome to the AmSim Show release stream for the Nembrini Audio, Hughes and Kettner finally collaborating. And I remember when this was a thing. I remember when this came up. And I could not be more excited about it though. This is definitely one of the companies that really needed to get behind a licensed plugin, because I think this year is the year that I think you're going to start seeing some more love for Hughes and Kettner amps. I hope most of that love gets thrown out there by Nembrini Audio. I hope there's more to this collaboration than just the Puretone. The Tri-Amp would make me very happy, but I think there was a reason for this. If I have to guess, and I'm not speaking, I know I do work with Nembrini Audio from time to time, but this is pure speculation. That in my opinion, if I'm working on a licensed deal, just in my experience, when you're working on a licensed deal for a software developer and you're trying to just test the waters, you're going to do a simple product first, a simple amp, like a 1-channel amp. If that goes well and everyone's happy with that, then you would definitely be able to see something like, hey, well, that went really well. You know, there's more, obviously, guys, why would you might be thinking, well, why wouldn't you just go to the flagship first? Well, there's more money involved with modeling and developing an amp that's more complex. And you're wanting to keep it easy, take it easy, see what happens, work together on something, see how it feels working together on something that's shorter. Whereas it's something like the Triamp is going to be more of a development process, right? So something shorter, if that goes well, and I cannot see why it wouldn't, because this is awesome. It's refined because this has been beta tested for the last like 2 months, 3 months, I think. It's been around for a bit. We've all had to like on it, and I was very excited. Even someone in a stream was talking about this amp like a month and a couple weeks ago, and I just laughed out loud. I was like, "Look at this! Look at that!" Someone was. I cannot for the life of me remember now who it was, but it's taken a bit to keep this behind boards. So in my opinion, the reason that this is coming first is because it's probably got something to do, at least something to do, with just wanting to start slow and take it easy as opposed to diving all the way into something. Plus, if you're the analog developer, you want to see what that particular plugin developer can do for you. You want to see the level of authenticity and the level of the work ethic. And, you know, you don't want someone that's just going to lean on this 3-amp, like say, oh, we're going to do a 3-product deal. You're not going to want a developer who's just going to sort of lean on it and be like, yeah, you know, I'm going to do some stuff in between. We'll get to it and this or that. I like this because they just did this one product. They're going to see how it pans out. And then hopefully they make a plan to do the Triamp and we all get what we really need. This so far, though, the Puretone is fantastic. Again, I don't know a lot about this amp. I wish I knew a little bit more about it. I see some people talking about it in the comments, in the chat. Thanks so much for that. By the way, like and subscribe if this is something that you're interested in. We are here. We enjoy having you guys here, and thank you so much for being here. And this is what we do. We aim to do release streams for everything that we can. This is going to be like a hard rock thrash. I think like I said, I think for some reason, I really do feel like the modern metal and the gent guys are going to like this amp a lot. That is way too much top end still. I need to bring that back. That's tight. That's really tight sounding, guys. Really, really tight. It sounds really good. Although I'm going to back off. I'm going to scoop the heck out of it and see if I can get something really like old school thrash sounding. I've got the mids way back and I'm still getting a pretty good bite. I'm still getting a pretty darn good bite out of those mids. So hell yeah. Hell yeah, shit yeah. I think it's gonna be a thrash player's dream. Oh, it's out of tune. Oh my god, it's out of tune. Somebody type out capital T, quick. Yes, I agree. This is their best UI yet. 100%. I know that they really needed that boost section. And sometimes I want to tell you guys that sometimes developers don't want to. They just don't want to go with the status quo. They don't want to go with they don't want to go. They're just like, I get it. Everybody wants a boost section. I get it. Everybody wants a boost section. And I've been telling them because I've been working along with Igor on helping him with artist relations and some other small things for a number of years now. And ever since he opened the doors. And in that time, I've been telling him since, I'm not even kidding you guys, since day one, I've been like, yeah, this really needs a boost section, man. And he'd be like, yeah, cool. And then just wouldn't do it. He's known for a long time. He just doesn't, he just isn't that guy. Doesn't want to do a boost section. But people change, and I think this is going to show him that there are a lot of people out there, that really wanted to see this change with the Nembrini plugins. And I think with his pedal arsenal, he's offering pedals for free. There's no universe where he shouldn't be putting the pedal into the plugin. It doesn't even have to be in the situation where it's a multi-panel. If you guys go and check out the Kali axis, he put up here a little small window of what he calls plugin rig. I believe it's called plugin rig. Yeah, there's a small window where you can organize your chains, and you have a number of things that are organized in a chain, and you can move them around in the chain if you even want to. It can stay on one panel. You don't necessarily need a panel for your pedals, although it is nice. You don't always have to. He did something else where he didn't really need to, but again, it gets a bit cluttered. I get it, but you're right. You're absolutely correct. This is something that I think Nembrini Audio's needed for a long period of time. And I understand that he might not like it, but there are just users out there that require it. They do not want to work outside the box. They don't want to add their own tube screamers to their chain. They don't want to hear about it. And I've worked with plenty of those influencers that were just not interested in working on something. Yeah, it sounds good, but it needs a boost. I've heard that lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of times. And I reported it every single time as well. Feedback from influencer is this. Feedback from influencers that does not wish to do this because of this. And there's only so long you can hear that before finally saying, fuck it. Fine. I will give you guys a boost. And in this case, I think it may have, the suggestion may have come from the developer as opposed to it being offered, or maybe it was a Nembrini Audio thing. I will ask because I am also curious. But I think this was a really, really good move for them, just like you just said. Hey, this is definitely a good hard rock amp though, guys. Really good hard rock amp, not just for metal. Oh, that sounds good. This pickup is really just really great for this that sharp edge. There is a lot of top end on that though. I feel like there's like the amount of top end is pretty crazy. I don't have this on right now. I did move this closer though. I really should just move that back. Man, the picking and the response, everything. This sounds really good. I'm very impressed with how good this sounds so far. So good. Thank you so much to Elmiris for joining us. I really appreciate it. And I am giving away a Nembrini audio plugin, although I'm not 100% sure. I did not get an answer as to whether I am going to be able to give away this one in particular. But I am going to give away a plugin today. It's going to be Elmiris. Elmiris is going to win himself a plugin from his choice of plugin from Nembrini Audio. Although if it is this, please do give me a secondary choice of something you would like over there. Also, make sure you have an account all started that we can just drop it into. And it is very quick. Delivery from Nembrini Audio for prizes is usually pretty much instant. Overnight is usually the case. So it's pretty quick. So let me know. theampsimuniverse@gmail.com. Again, theampsimuniverse@gmail.com. And let me know if it isn't this that you'd like. That's no problem. If it is this that you'd like, let me know a secondary choice so I can get that into the boss man and get that sent over to you, deposited into your account. I will also need the account email if it is different from the one that you're emailing from. Kyle Hunter, your prizes from Fuse Audio Labs are all delivered in your account, my friend. I don't know if you knew that or not yet, but if you go to your Fuse Audio Labs account, then everything is available, sir. Every last thing, and you are going to have a lot of fun, and your mixes will improve by using the tools there. Not everything there is going to be your bag, and that's okay. There's not everything there is my bag either. I don't have a use for everything there, but you're going to find a use for some. Man, the reverbs and the delays and the germanium distortion. Oh, my goodness gracious. Or sorry, the germanium overdrive. Oh, my Lanta. Everything from over there at Fuse Audio Labs is freaking-tastic. And don't forget to get yourself the freeware as well over there. Thank you so much to Fuse Audio Labs. Thank you. Guys, I'm going to take a quick break. Please do give me 3 minutes. I will be back with you for more of the Hughes and Kettner Puretone, as well as some of my Nembrini Audio favorites. I'm going to pull out a few different plugins in the second half, and we're going to be here for another while, because I feel like I kind of screwed everything up yesterday by I just was not in the mindset. It would have been a super boring stream, and I had this just something going on with my head as well. It just didn't feel great. So I'm like, you know what? If I'm not 100% in the zone, then I don't want to come on here and fake it, because then who wants to do that? You might as well be one of those guys that just takes a paycheck to be like, hey guys, this plugin's awesome. Chug. I mean, if you can do that kind of work, that's not necessarily me. I still have a lot of fun with this. And I want to make sure every stream is fun. Every video we do here is fun, and the energy is high. So again, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of the ground level of what we are trying to grow here in 2025. Thank you very much. And please, like I said, hit that like and subscribe. I will only try to say it once tops twice per episode. Thanks, guys. Give me 3 minutes. Hi, everybody. Oh, I'm in a great mood today, guys. So I think we've gone about as far as we can go in this stream with the Hughes and Kettner Puretone. My first impression review, my first impression score is a 10 out of 10. And I can hear it. There's always going to be one person or two people that are like, well, you're working for the company right now, so obviously he's gonna say it's fucking awesome. No, that is absolutely not the way we roll here. We are friends with a lot of developers out there, and all of those developers have released a plugin we didn't like while we were friends with them. Guess what? We're just people. And I like this plugin a lot, and Igor knows that, and you guys now know that. I really like this. 9.5, 10 out of 10. This thing is awesome. It's coming out tomorrow. I do believe there'll be an intro price. Usually Nembrini audio plugins carry a really solid intro price. If you are a rock player, if you are a metal player, if you are like a hard rock, whether it's hard rock, I don't know about dad rock because this does have a very modern feel to it. So it does have a very modern feel. This is a very, very cool amp. It's very, very unique. It's super versatile in that it can go from, you're going to have to use the pedals though. And that's why I'm really glad that he did that pedal section, because this overdrive makes a huge difference in what you can do with this amp. It's huge difference. Very simplistic amp. There's not much going on. So again, this is going to be a plugin I would suggest for any new user. Would be fantastic to recommend. Although, keep in mind, inside the intro month, it's very affordable. Outside the intro month, it's, I wouldn't recommend $129 plugin to any new user ever. Not ever. That is never going to be a thing. I would never do that. Only because you don't want to bring somebody in thinking that everything they buy is going to be $130 fucking dollars. That's not the way you want someone to value what they're about to step into. You want them to look at, wow, freeware, sales, intro prices. Oh, I need to be there. And having Hughes and Kettner on the market now is really nice. So again, big points for me for originality and just bringing us something in the plugin industry that we don't have. There's a lot of good reasons why you see a lot of the same amps like 5150s, JCM 800s, Plexis and Bogner Ecstasies. And there's a reason that you see a lot of the same amps, because they sell and because developers are constantly, or should be constantly, trying to one up somebody else's take on that amp, or at least provide a very similar quality but maybe a different take. And just because one developer has done an amp the way you like it doesn't mean you shouldn't go and check out the other one as well, because every developer has their thing. They're going to include different features, and if you're a true fan of a certain amp, then sometimes I feel like you just got to go and buy some of that overlap for your collection. So yeah, Brain Dead. Hi. We're slow moving today, folks. We're slow moving. And I figured out what the problem was. I've got to go and get a different app, but we've got to hack the tablet that I just got. Because Amazon just really limits what you can put on it. Holy fucking bullshit. I might just go and get a different one, because bullshit. But yeah, I don't know. We have yet to decide what we're going to do with this. We're going to try it out. We're going to hack it. In a sense, not actually hack it, but you just put like a file on it so it can use like the Samsung store. And then we're going to see where we're at. If it's at all herky-jerky or shitty, then I'm just going to go and get something else. I need to see what you guys are saying so I don't have to lean forward. And I just don't have room for another monitor. Although at this point, guys, I'm really starting to consider it. I'm really starting, even though we're getting this tablet and it'd be fine, I really just want to get a second monitor and park it right here. And so I can see you guys. It'll just sit right there in front of the monitor. It doesn't need to be there all the time. A secondary monitor, done. We'll see. Mark Studios, way better UI than this past stuff. Thank you so much for saying that. Not that I do the UIs. Drinking another Sober Carpenter non-alcoholic cider today, guys. If you're in North America, you can get these. They are not a channel sponsor, although I wish they were. Anyways, so you guys, honestly, this thing rips. I think this, if I'm going to be picky, I know this is the first time they've included a pedal section. I think, maybe there could have been one more pedal. Maybe one more pedal. Maybe something. I don't know. Because the pedals are just huge. huge. I think I would have been cool to see like the Hughes and Kettner logo on this pedal specifically, although it is up here. Yeah, never mind. That's being nitpicky, but you have to be nitpicky in this industry because I can tell you the other companies are. Somebody at every company is going to be very, very nitpicky, or multiple people. Anyways, thank you so much to Nembrini Audio for that. I appreciate you. I appreciate Igor. We're going to get that going. And we're just going to jump into a couple of other plugins I really enjoy from Nembrini Audio. And one of those plugins is this one right here. This is the ADA, based on the ADA MP1. This thing is really cool. And I wanted this particular piece of gear so badly when I was a kid. And I went to a particular guitar teacher just because he had this particular piece of gear. So let's get to it. Nope. Let's not get to it. We're not getting to it at all. Sorry, guys. Oh, this thing is cool. And this was used by a lot. It was paid usage, though. All endorsement. People paid good money. And this was kind of one of the first travel rigs where a lot of guys that used Marshall amps didn't want to tour with their Marshalls. Not just Marshalls, but other amps as well, would use the ADA MP1. Or they would often, this is another one of those firsts as well. This is based on the Marshall JMP1. This is JMP Pro. And this one just happens to be, there was kind of this one space rack preamp war in the 80s and 90s. There was the ADA MP1, there was the Triaxis, there was the JMP1, there was a number. And then later on came some other things. There was the Bogner Fish, which again, I am trying to convince Igor to do a plugin just like this. What do you guys think? I'm going to send this stream to him to watch over and read over the comments. What do you guys think? Do you think a Bogner Fish would go over well? I'm curious. Do you guys think a Bogner Fish in a suite like this with power and cabs and mics and yada, would it go well? I think it would be absolutely incredible. That's my own personal thoughts, though, and I'm curious as to how you guys feel, so do let me know in the comments. I'm going to use the, I love the delay on here, so I'm going to use it. All right, so this is, and again, there's some, all right, and it's pretty cool. Like, I mean, the way it looks, this is a piece of gear you can see from another planet, basically. If there's somebody with the ADA MP1 in their rack, if you're looking for it, or if you know what it looks like, you can see it from a super far away. You name the comments, name another piece of gear. I'm curious, guys. Get involved in the comments here. I'm curious. What's another piece of gear that's on a stage, when it's on a stage, you can see from the back of the fucking venue for whatever reason it is, and do tell me what it is about that piece of gear. For this piece of gear, it was the way that the blood red LED display that's extremely bright, and the blue buttons always contrasted, even in like the darkest stages where you couldn't always see the gear. This was one of those pieces of gear that if it was visible, you could see it. And I'm old enough to remember a day where this was a piece of gear you saw quite often, although admittedly now it's not seen quite as often. Let's go to the screen. You kind of have to add your own plugin, your own boost on this one, and we're going to use, yes, I'm aware there's a new version. So if you put your own screamer on this, that sounds, again, you'd be surprised how many amps and stuff that you can get a good solid metal tone out of without a lot of fuss. Get some high, just a little bit of top end there, and it just changes things around, doesn't it? In the cabin section, you've got the VHT/Fryette, the Marshall with greenbacks. You've got a Mesa cab. You have a Hughes Kettner 212 P50E and Bogner 212, and then back. Now, here's the one thing I think that if I have to complain, and I do have to complain because I think it's for people like myself, the other guys on this team, and others like yourselves, many of you out there, that really just there are small things that I think could go a long way. In my opinion, it'd be great to also feature on all of these preamp based plugins that he has, which is the Kali Access, the JMP Pro, the MP1 Pro. There are 3 of them right now, if I'm not mistaken, just 3. And I think in all of those, it would be absolutely ideal to have a switch that controls EL34 to 6L6 voicing for the power section. It's a 2 power section. In this particular plugin, it's hardwired into EL34 voicing, which is fine. Same as this, EL34 voicing for the Kali Access. If I'm not mistaken, it's 6L6 voicing. And that's great. I understand that, because, Marshall EL34, okay, I get it. But it would be great to have that option to go either way with the power section on all of the preamps, just like you can in real life, where when a lot of the guys that would use 2 power sections for these in their rack spaces could go either way with it. And I think that would bring even more nostalgia. I saw Glenn Fricker utilize this plugin in a stream the other day. It's great to see Glenn opening his mind to things like Nembrini audio. It's terrific to see it, actually, because Nembrini's been around just as long as a lot of these other companies. Plus, Igor, of course, also, if you're not familiar, did everything that you're going to find for guitar and bass at Plugin Alliance, as he worked with Brainworks prior to starting Nembrini Audio for years and years and years. So everything you've ever seen done with guitar or bass, for guitar or bass at Plugin, that's available at Plugin Alliance right now, probably on some sort of sale right now. All of that was also done by Igor. That's for many years prior to Nembrini Audio existing. So we're talking about a company with experience, and it's really great to see, start seeing some of that recognition coming his way, and having the company make some moves like licensed deals and potentially signature deals in the future that will be really, truly great to see for him, because I believe those are the things that he needs to take this company it's already at the top. Quality-wise and, popularity-wise, it's already up there with the other, the STL tones and the internal DSPs and everything else. Nembrini Audio is already there. But that would certainly, doing things like adding boost sections, huge. Seems so small, but for a lot of users that require it and just need it, you are talking something that's very easy for him to do, and you're guaranteeing yourself A, happier people, and B, you're going to take some of the work even some of the work from your customer support team, being like, hey, is there a boost I'm missing here? For some of the newer users that require, how do I get it? What do I do? This and that and the other thing. I think it's just going to make people happier with the plugin. So again, good freaking call on that end. Yes, you're correct. This is a conversation that I had today I said what I actually said KTs as well. I said, and what are your theories, your thoughts on it? Because why? Because I also suggested that because he has done and he is familiar with the E530. Yes, this can be used for metal, the MP1, sure. You can use the JMP Pro for metal. Absolutely you can. You can use the Kali Axis for metal. You sure can. But wouldn't it be great, because he's familiar with it already as he's done it in previous employment in the form of rock rack. He's familiar with what it takes to model the Angle E530, which I think is one of the only one space racks that he's missing from this whole thing. And if he does that, he's got to bring in those KT2s, because that power section that often came and you saw coupled with the Angle E530 was, I believe, from Angle was the KT power section. So that would be something you'd have to add. And why wouldn't you? You know what I mean? Because if you see here, I loaded this up for a specific purpose. He's proven that by the way, every developer can do this, but he's proven right here, power amp 2, EL34, 6L6, and phenomenally different. And this was my suggestion, if I might add. I'm going to just give myself a little pat on the back. Yay! Yay! When I suggested him that he do the 8134, he suggested, well, it was his suggestion was to add the power tube. So it was actually his suggestion, but my suggestion was saying, hey, you should just do another plugin on the 6534. It's a hugely popular cult following kind of amp. And he's like, well, why don't we just instead add the tube type to this one? And thus also improvements happen if you use this plugin back in the day. Let's get into this one right now, actually. Why not? Okay, let's go to the impulse response loader. Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. Let's turn that off. Okay, fantastic. Let's get this set up. Now, back in when this first came out, the low end response was rather off. It just was. There's no other way there's no other way to say it. It was just a little off, and that's okay. And it got fixed when he did this particular plugin. When he did this all of that low end response did get fixed, and it's now sounds much, much better. Let's check this out. Way, way, way better. If I put a screamer out front of that, like the Dead Horse, for example. Sounds great. Way, way better than it was initially. That's right. It's only on this channel here. The 5150 plus the Dead Horse, that is a combination I've used in analog form, and it's always come across sounding pretty good. So this is another plugin where I'm just showing that this is more than possible. I can understand why he might not want to do it with something like the JMP Pro, because 9 times out of 10 or 10 times out of 10, or even let's just say 49 times out of 50 that you see this, you'll see it coupled with a power source that is in fact EL34, because this is supposed to be a Marshall. With the tri-axis, I've seen all manner of power sources. I saw people that used EL34 power sources to voice the tri-axis because they thought it was neat to add that voicing to those amps, which again, if you're not familiar, the tri-axis was supposed to be kind of like a bunch of Mark amps in the box. And if you're not familiar with the Kali axis, let's fire that up as... Oh, do I have it? Yeah, I do. Okay, perfect. That was just, sorry for that squirreliness there. I have it set in, it's not the plugin's fault. I have it set in such a way. Now, here's what I was talking about. He put this window up here where, that's right, you can't necessarily move them around, can you? No, you can't. Okay, so you can't move them around, but he put them all in here, but just didn't put, he didn't put a tube screamer in here. So this one was kind of like, okay, well, all right, you kind of, I feel like if you just make one of these little windows a tube screamer, like instead of compression, put a tube screamer in there. And I guarantee it is going to go over really well. Oh, you can move it around pre and post, but you can't move around pre to post. That's right. So it's terrific. This is a great plugin as well. Check this out. Mark Series amps in the box. And we're going to get out of here in just a few minutes, guys. But thank you so much for being here for this release day stream. I had a good time. I hope you guys had a good time as well. And this is definitely the Hughes Kettner is 100% worth purchasing. The MP1 Pro, one of the best plugins you're ever going to hear for lead work. This has become my go-to lead work, go-to plugin for lead work on and you know, leads and solos on everything I've been doing lately, just for funskies. This song kills me at the end, man. It just gets me every time. This thing is amazing, and I really love this whole preamp thing. I think it's really going to get a lot of newer users into it because there are a lot of players out there just like me that grew up absolutely gassing for these preamps, and they could never afford them, nor can they afford them now, or don't even have I don't even have a use for either one of these plugins in its analog form anymore. So that's another thing that makes it cool, because you can own some of the gear that you sought after as a kid. And that's all for any age group here as well, because I know there are a lot of, kids that grew up are users right now, guys, in their 30s and such that grew up on metalcore that are just like, they could never afford, when I was in a band, metalcore band, I talked to one guy, said, I had was a Line 6 Spider and a BC Rich Warlock. And now that I'm older, I can, get all these different amps, and I can, test out different stuff, and I can go get the metalcore rig of my dreams kind of thing. But I can do it all for like $200 or less. That's a great feeling. All right, folks. So thank you so much for being here. Man, do I ever appreciate each and every one of you guys. It's been a fun day. We are growing. We are growing, even just through this little stretch. We are growing, and you are helping us grow. And tomorrow is the big one. We're going to do a big, long stream tomorrow. And we're going to lay out some of our plans for 2025. And where I was going with it earlier is, if you guys want to be heard, come here tomorrow and tell developers, tell us, tell other users what it is that you'd like to see coming for 2025 or beyond. Most developers have their entire year planned by now. Most. But that doesn't mean they can't sneak things in or say, geez, that's a really good idea. Maybe we move this down the bench. I've seen that happen a number of times just because something kept coming up, or a hyped amp hadn't been done yet that came to their attention, or something that somebody or multiple people brought up that was just cool. Okay, guys? So in the comments tomorrow, in the chat tomorrow, I would love to see it just light up with suggestions for what could be done to make the industry cooler. And what amps what do you think? I would also, not just amps and pedals that haven't been done yet, not just cabinets that haven't been done yet, but stuff maybe that you would like to see done better. Or maybe it's something that you would love to just see. It's your favorite amp and you just want to see, and you're bored of the plugins you have and you're like, God, somebody do another one already. You can do that, and maybe your voice will be heard by several different people over time. You don't know that. You can also contact your favorite developers direct, although in some cases it might honestly be like it's a Hail Mary. You're going to get someone on a small suggestion, but you never know. Okay, folks? So thank you so much. My challenge for you guys for the next couple weeks at the end of streams is going to be just check out our new sponsors. I'll get more inventive with it after the next couple weeks. But if you haven't checked out Mindsinger guitars or Aurora Tone pickups, guys, folks, you really should. They're helping us out. And we're going to have some really, really cool stuff to showcase from both companies inside the next couple of weeks. Let us know what you guys think of their stuff. Okay, guys? So for now, I am out. I will see you guys tomorrow It will be a fun day. There will be many more giveaways. It'll be our second last day of giveaways, and I can't wait. Thank you for being here. Thank you. From the bottom of it, thank you so much. We'll see you guys next time. Cheers.